Attention passionate Cleveland Browns fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another championship run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before we dive in, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and fellow Cleveland Browns fans. Let's get to the news. When we talk about the Cleveland Browns in 2025, folks, you have to understand that what's happening right now is nothing short of seismic. The Browns are at a crossroads, and the next few weeks could define the future of this franchise for years to come. You see, just a couple of seasons ago, Cleveland was on the rise, fresh off a playoff appearance, with Kevin Stefanski riding high after being named Coach of the Year. There was hope, excitement, and a belief that maybe, just maybe, the Browns had turned a corner. But as we all know, the NFL has a way of humbling even the most promising teams. And 2024 was a nightmare that set the stage for what might be a historic shakeup in 2025. And now, entering week 3 of this new season, the pressure on Stefanski is more intense than ever before. You might ask, why such a dramatic shift? Well, let us take a deep dive into what's gone wrong, what's at stake, and what could happen next for Cleveland. First, let us revisit what happened last season because it is crucial to understand the context. The 2024 campaign was, without a doubt, one of the worst in franchise history. The Browns finished with a 3-14 record, the worst in the AFC, and that's not just a number, it's a reflection of systemic issues that go way beyond injuries. Yes, injuries played a role, particularly the season-ending Achilles tear to Deshaun Watson, which derailed the quarterback's rhythm and left the offense in shambles. But the real story was on the field. The offense was practically non-existent. Cleveland finished dead last in points scored, averaging just 2 points per game. That's right, dead last. They couldn't sustain drives, they couldn't finish in the red zone, and they couldn't even convert third downs at a decent clip. Their third down conversion rate was a pitiful 29.5, which is well below league average, and tied for the league's worst with turnovers. A staggering 34 turnovers, more than almost any other team, and the Browns led the league in punts. That's a recipe for disaster, and it showed a team lacking identity, rhythm, and confidence. You might wonder, what about Deshaun Watson? Well, when healthy, Watson was out of sync, failing to even reach 20 points in any of his 7 starts. That's a damning statistic for a quarterback with Watson's pedigree, and backup quarterbacks, they didn't do much better. Cleveland cycled through 4 different starters under center last year, trying to find stability in a storm of chaos. The passing game was predictable, conservative, and ultimately ineffective. The injury to Nick Chubb early in the season didn't help either. He was the engine of that running attack, and once he was out, the offense lacked its usual explosiveness. Play calling was heavily criticized, and the frustration in the locker room grew palpable. It was a season that exposed major flaws in both the offense and defense. Now, the defense, which was once a top-tier unit under Jim Schwartz, also took a nosedive. Injuries, fatigue, and poor tackling led to blown coverages and mental errors. They simply couldn't hold up in critical moments, and as the season dragged on, their effectiveness waned. It was a perfect storm of dysfunction, and the Browns front office knew it. That's why during the offseason, they made some changes to the coaching staff, firing offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey and offensive line coach Andy Dickerson. But here's the thing, Stefanski was retained. And that decision, my friends, is where everything gets complicated. You see, Stefanski's previous success kept him in the good graces of ownership, but that leash has been shortened considerably. Cleveland's owner, Jimmy Haslam, isn't known for patience, especially when results are so disappointing. The questions about Deshaun Watson's massive contract, combined with the team's on-field struggles, mean that any misstep could be enough to trigger a coaching change. And let us be honest, the upcoming schedule isn't doing Stefanski any favors. The Browns start the season with a brutal 5-game stretch, considered one of the toughest in the league. Week 2 sends them to Baltimore to face Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, a team that always plays Cleveland tough and is a perennial playoff contender. Week 3 brings the Green Bay Packers to Cleveland, where Jordan Love is starting to show flashes of greatness as a young quarterback. Week 4 takes Cleveland on the road again, this time against the Detroit Lions, a team that reached the NFC Championship last year with an explosive offense. And then in Week 5, they head to London to face the Minnesota Vikings, adding a long trip and extra fatigue to an already challenging schedule. Now, if the Browns stumble out of the gate, say, start 0-4 or 1-3, the pressure to pull the trigger on a coaching change will intensify. Fans, already frustrated after years of false starts and underachievement. 1T tolerate much more losing. They re-0-2 right now, and with games against the Packers, Lions, Vikings, and Steelers coming up, the outlook isn't exactly optimistic. The front office is paying close attention, and the temptation to make an early move grows stronger with each passing week. Because Cleveland's management has a history of impatience, and given the questions surrounding Watson's long-term future, they might see firing Stefanski now as a way to reset the team and send a message to the locker room. But here's where it gets even more interesting. You have to ask, what if Cleveland's season continues to spiral downward? If they lose the next 3 or 4 games, the chances of a mid-season firing increase dramatically. It's a common theme in the NFL. Teams often decide to change coaches early if results aren't there, especially when the alternative is sinking further into dysfunction. Stefanski, despite his previous success, is coaching for his job from the moment the season begins. His past achievements granted him some goodwill, but that's all but evaporated after last year's disaster. The schedule is brutal, the fan frustration is mounting, and ownership's patience is wearing thin. So let us imagine the scenario. Cleveland starts 0-4 or 1-4 with losses to tough opponents like Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, and Minnesota. The fans are calling for change, the media is speculating, and the front office is weighing their options. Do they stick with Stefanski hoping for a turnaround? Or do they cut bait early, bring in an interim coach, and look for a long-term solution? The truth is, the Browns are at a pivotal moment. Every game, every decision counts. If they fall further behind, the likelihood of a mid-season firing skyrockets. That's why this isn't just about wins and losses, it's about whether this coaching staff can still lead the franchise forward. Now, I want to talk about what's at stake beyond the coaching staff. The entire organization is under scrutiny. Deshaun Watson's future, the long-term direction of the roster, and the ownership's willingness to invest in stability versus chaos are all on the line. Cleveland's fanbase is passionate and demanding, and they've endured years of false hopes and false starts. They retired of the cycle of dysfunction. A quick start to the season could buy Stefanski some time, but a slow start, especially if it's accompanied by more bad performances, could spell the end of his tenure in Cleveland. And here's a key point. This season might not just be about this year. It's about the future of the franchise. Cleveland needs to decide if they're rebuilding around Watson, if they want to develop young players, or if they're going into rebuild mode. The coaching staff plays a central role in that decision. If they believe that Stefanski can get the team over the hump, they might pull the trigger early to start a new chapter. Conversely, if they see potential for a turnaround, they might give him a bit more time, but with each passing week, that window is closing. Now, for the fans listening, it's essential to realize that the Browns front office isn't just reacting to this season, they're replanning for the next, and the next after that. They reanalyzing every game, every play, every decision. The pressure on Stefanski isn't just about this game or this month, it's about his entire future with the team. And let us be honest, in the NFL, coaching stability is often tied directly to results. If the Browns don't show improvement soon, the coaching carousel could be spinning faster than anyone expects. So, what should Browns fans be looking out for? Keep an eye on the upcoming games. If Cleveland loses badly against the Packers, Lions, or Vikings, and then drops another game or two against divisional rivals like the Steelers, the writing could be on the wall. The owner, Jimmy Haslam, is known to be decisive when results don't meet expectations. Early season losses, especially in a brutal schedule, could lead to a quick trigger. It's not just about one coach losing his job, it's about the entire direction of the franchise. As we look ahead, I want to emphasize that this is a defining moment for Cleveland. The 2025 season could be a turning point for better or worse. Will the Browns rally, turn things around, and give Stefanski a chance? Or will the mounting losses and frustration lead to a swift change, a new voice in the locker room, and perhaps a new era? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the stakes have never been higher, and the eyes of the NFL world are on Cleveland right now. So, Browns fans, this is the moment to stay engaged, to support your team through thick and thin. The next few weeks are critical. Every game, every play, every decision will shape the future of this franchise. And I promise I'll be right here breaking down every twist and turn along the way. Make sure you comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Stefanski can turn this around? Or do you think the Browns are ready to move on? Drop your opinions and let us keep the debate alive. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and news about your Cleveland Browns. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let us see what the future holds for this storied franchise. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to US and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.